You are listening to Co-Create Your Life. In this podcast, we delve deep into the law of attraction, dispel common misconceptions, and give our listeners the tools they need to build a magical, purposeful existence in their everyday lives. Reclaim the creative power you already possess and join us at cocreationcoaching.org/create. That's cocreationcoaching.org/create.
Welcome to Co-Create Your Life. This is episode 32, Why You Must Have Confidence in Your Vision. I am Brandon Oliveris.
And I'm Christine Oliveris.
And today we are talking about the importance of confidence and the importance of not being dissuaded from your vision, especially when you have these ultimate level goals or your purpose in life that you're trying to achieve. So before I get to that, we have an announcement. If you would like to see the show notes for this podcast, you can go to cocreationcoaching.org/create032. So again, today we are talking about vision and confidence and really bypassing any kind of discouragement from others or from your own subconscious mind through having high confidence in your own ability to achieve your vision, even when it doesn't seem like you should have that confidence. So first, we have our weekly segment, Quote of the Week. And this week's quote comes from a book I've been reading called Thick Face, Black Heart by Chin-Ning Chu. I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And anyway, so this quote is, I've been reading a few books about this topic actually, so there's several things I could have chosen, but this one really jumped out at me, and so I decided to use this one.
Did it say boo? Just kidding.
Yes, it jumped out and said boo.
I couldn't resist.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, so here is the quote. When you have no evidence that you are greater than your circumstances, you must never let go of your vision of victory.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's an awesome quote. I think that's amazing. So again, we're talking about, having confidence. And, the other book I was reading on this subject was from Dr. John Elliott, and it was called Overachievement. And that was another great book all about, or at least part of it was about how you really need to have confidence in what you're doing and in your vision. So what this comes down to, a lot of times, like on my blog, I've talked about next level goals. Okay, I just want to summarize for people who are new to my work. My classic division of types of goals has been current level goals, which are goals that, you can achieve within, say, a few days to a week, right? They're goals that you just have little to no resistance on. Okay, and next level goals are goals that you do have resistance, but they're believable to you. The goal is believable, at least mostly. You can get there. It's within your reach. You have to stretch a bit, but you can get there. And that usually takes, a few weeks up to about 3 months or so at the most. Usually most of my next level goals have come within a month and a half. And then there were ultimate level goals, which I said, were between generally 6 months to a year or anything over 3 months really. And are goals that you can't believe in right now, but, you can break it down into smaller goals and get there step by step. But, it's something you can't believe in right now. It's too far out there for your subconscious mind. And, the only really experience I had with achieving an ultimate level goal was, as I mentioned, previously, getting off of SSI. And, I did that earlier this year, and that was something that, was some time in coming and took me a while, but, I broke that down into next level goals. And so, I got there, right? It took about 7 months.
Yeah.
And I was able to get there, right?
Yeah, you started last November, December, maybe? October?
Right, yeah.
Something like that?
It was
about a year
October.
ago, actually.
Yeah, about last October. And then took till March.
We should celebrate. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, right? It's been a year. So, that is what an ultimate level goal is.
It's just going off of that real quick because I was talking to a friend today, and she was telling me how one of her checks bounced. And I'm
Right.
thinking, oh my God, I remember those times.
Oh,
I don't know if
God.
we ever had that happen, but when I told her, like, I remember when that used to happen, I'm like, oh, it used to happen. Like,
Right. Yeah.
just,
I've
it's
been
like, oh my
afraid of that
gosh,
happening.
I know.
Yeah. I've certainly been afraid of that happening.
I don't know if it ever did, but
I don't think it ever did. Maybe once, but I don't remember really. Probably
yeah,
never. But yeah, I mean, it was close though. Sometimes, I was always pretty good with money, so I always made sure there was enough if we had a check or something. But
yeah.
it was certainly uncomfortable sometimes, So anyway, what I've been talking about on my blog most of all has been next level goals. And, those are, I think, what most people are trying to get. Most of the clients I've worked with and I am working with are trying to get a next level goal. They're trying to get something that they know they can get on some level, but it's just causing some issue for them. I am working with one client who is working on something that's greater than the next level goal. And so I've been thinking about this more lately. But most of my clients are working on next level goals. So that's been my main focus, on the blog. But, as I say a lot, I always work on every so often, not even more than every so often. I will say, hey, universe, I'm pretty comfortable on this level. What's up next? What's the next level of the law of attraction? I want to go deeper with all this. And so something else comes up, and inevitably, there's another level that I have to explore and learn more about, and that gives me a lot more content to write on, so, but this time it's given me a lot.
Yeah.
It's given me tons to work with, and so what I've been thinking about lately is vision. And especially, I think it got into this because, I've been taking that course, Become Limitless from Mind Valley. And I'm almost done with that course, by the way. I'm on the last module. I have to finish that sometime, probably do it this weekend. But I'm taking this course, Become Limitless, and that's all about, your vision in life, your purpose, your, why you're here, your why, basically, why you're doing what you're doing. And it got me thinking a lot about all of this stuff. And, the fact is that when you have a why, it really drives you forward. It really gives you a reason to do what you're doing. Okay, so, that's been something I've been really exploring. And that vision, that purpose, that mission, that why is, I think, what I did call ultimate level goals, except almost even bigger. Okay.
Yeah, it's your whole life. It's your mission, your
It's your whole life.
purpose.
Right. And you can have multiple of these. You can have
Sure.
several. But generally speaking, that's the thing that really gets you going. If you're lucky enough to know what that is for you, that's awesome. And you're trying to find a way to achieve that. Like I mentioned a few weeks ago, I think, that from a very young age, I felt like I had a very special purpose and I had to do something in the spiritual field. And, it took me a long time to figure that out. And now I am doing that. Right. But you know what I mean? Like, this is what your purpose, your vision, your mission in life, the why that you're doing all this is all about. And so, this is shifting a lot for me of how I see things, and not the techniques necessarily, except for these bigger dreams and goals and things, but the terminology. I'll start out with the terminology I use around these things, because an ultimate level goal, the reason I'm kind of getting away from that is that this vision, this dream, is different from a goal, because a vision is something that isn't very detailed. Like when I say, oh, I want to be a spiritual teacher. I want to help others, learn how to create their lives. That's not super specific. I'm not saying I want to make this much money by the state, or, I want to be having this many clients. That's a goal. But saying I want to help people learn how to create their own lives, that's not a goal.
No.
That's a vision. So there's a difference. So calling it a goal isn't really fair. You know what I mean? So kind of as an introduction to all of this, my change lately has been, a current level goal being more of an intention, where it's like a very simple thing that you can get very quickly. And then the mid-range, like actual short-term goals, like 1 to 3 months, is, what was next level goals is just a plain old, goal.
Yeah.
And then the long term, a year or longer, even up to 5 to 10 years, is a vision, or you can call it a purpose. Or Christine, you said you liked mission the best.
Yes, I do. That's my favorite.
I like.
I'm just weird like that.
Oh, you're not weird. Well, yeah, you are, but not in this case. But I like.
Have to say that.
Yes, I like vision, and so that's what I call it. Your vision. Your dream is another good one. Whatever you want to call it. The reason I kind of hesitate to call it dream is because it can kind of be mixed up with like a daydream where, oh, one day I'd love to do this. And how many times have I talked about turning your dreams into goals and really getting real about them, right? And so that's I kind of avoid that a little bit, but it is a dream. But as long as you're real about it and you really intend to get it, then that's whatever. So, I call this a vision. So the point of this podcast is to talk about that vision. And I will do either a post or podcast in the future about, what the difference is between these visions and goals, and, how you should kind of balance them and things like that. That's something I've been giving a lot of thought to. But today I want to talk about vision in terms of the confidence that you have to reach that vision. And one thing that really jumped out to me when I was reading Overachievement from John Elliott and this Thick-Faced Black Heart from Chin-Ning Chu is this idea of kind of almost ridiculous levels of confidence. Okay, and coming back to this book, Overachievement especially, I know I didn't take the quote from there, but that's really where I learned a ton about all of this. But this Overachievement book talks about, people who are really, really successful, let's say top-level athletes, performers, artists, the very wealthy people, things like that. People who are really, really successful have ridiculous levels of confidence, not arrogance. They don't think they're better than other people, but they know that they are really good at what they do, and even the best. Okay. And there were countless examples in that book of people that, objectively maybe seemed pretty average, pretty normal, but they knew they were great and they had great potential. It's seeing your own potential. And even when other people would tell them, no, you can't do this, it's not possible, they would say, yes, I can. It is possible. They wouldn't let that stop them. And, same thing with this quote I gave today, having that vision of your victory, never letting that go. It's like you are looking straight ahead at your mission, your vision in life, and not letting anything stop you. The Overachievement book gave a wonderful example of a metaphor of this. It was like, okay, if you lay down a 2x4 on the floor and you tell yourself to walk across it, you're going to do that without any kind of effort whatsoever. You're just going to walk right across it, right? There's no effort. There's nothing there that's going to make you nervous, right? It's just something you do. But if you put that same 2x4 suspended up 30 feet, suddenly you get nervous. It's the same action. Nothing's different about it.
It's higher.
But that doesn't change the technique of walking across it. It's just...
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's greater. It's, kind of the risk of failure is greater. So it's, so we second guess ourselves. Oh my gosh, what if I fall off? And so, we do probably worse than if it was just on the ground. Another example he gave, which I loved, was this guy is a professor. And so he'll teach this stuff to classes. And one example it does all the time, he'll take like his car keys and he'll pick out a random student and toss his car keys to them. And they have to toss it back to him. And they have to do it like 5 times or something. And they never, ever, 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 ever miss. It's just something that's really, really easy, right? They don't even have to think about it. And he said, now, if I said that next week, you have to come and throw my car keys at me, and if you do it right, you'll get $1 million. Then everyone would start training for it. They'd start trying to study how the best car keys throwing techniques, and they'd start all sorts of stuff and videoing themselves to see how their technique is, and they go crazy about it, and then they get nervous and probably do a lot worse and maybe even miss.
I probably wouldn't do that. I'd be like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and see what happens.
You don't know that in the circumstance, though. You know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, I do, because I don't, like...
That's true.
I don't
Money's
know.
not really a motivator for you, though.
That's true.
Okay, think of something you really, really like, and said you'll get that thing if you do this properly next week.
Yeah.
That is, like, when something's very important to us, we second guess ourselves. We don't just go for it. If it were just nothing, then we just do it and, that's it. It's not really important. But when it's made important, when it's made like really, really big, then we get nervous and we second guess ourselves, and we just, we don't know, like, we try too hard. Right.
Right, exactly.
So
it reminds me of, there's this guy, I don't remember his name. He can walk a tightrope he did it over Niagara Falls once or something. And he must have so much confidence to be able to do that, because the fact, and this is like, it's a high wire, actually.
Right.
And the fact that he could do that when it was like 80 feet, it was like really high up. Do you remember him?
I think so. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but the thing is, he doesn't hold on to a thing. He just walks across like it's nothing.
Sure. Well, he's trained to do that. He trained himself to do that, and
exactly.
I'm sure it's still nerve-wracking.
Oh, he was, but he hasn't died yet.
Well, there's only once that you can do that, and then you're done. So you only get one chance at that.
Exactly.
So but that's how, like, you would have a lot more confidence if it weren't a really big deal, right? So so we're going to take a quick break from this, and we'll come back in just a moment, and we'll continue this discussion. I think it's an awesome discussion we have going, but we're going to just go into a break real quick, and then we'll be right back for the rest of this podcast. All right, welcome back to Co-Create Your Life. And again, we are talking about the importance of confidence when it comes to your vision. So, as I was saying before, when something's really, really important to us, we tend to lose confidence, and we tend to not perform as well with that thing. And, and that's the case, like, if I come to you and say, like, manifest, let's say $20, before I say that to you, you might be able to do it at will, no problem. But if I say, hey, I want you to prove your manifestation abilities to me, and I want you to manifest $20, and it's like, oh my God, what if I fail? What if I don't do it? You lose that confidence, because it just becomes, you have to prove it. You have to perform, and you lose that confidence. That's the kind of thing I mean. And you need to be able to keep that confidence no matter what's going on. Now, the other thing with this is, here's the kind of mental shift or quantum shift, if you will, I had with this recently. When, and Vishen Lakhiani in that Become Limitless course talks about this a bit, where he talks about 4 levels of basically of human progress, of human growth. The first level is the victim state, where you feel like you're the victim, right? Everything's happening to you. The second level, which I think most people are at who are in the law of attraction, is where basically you know how to create your reality, you know how to set intentions. He calls this, I think, the culture hacker stage. You're hacking, your own life basically, improving it and setting intentions and whatnot. But those are, your goals. And the thing with that is you care whether you get them or not. You kind of get nervous if you don't. And so it's difficult for you. But the third level is, where you were talking about mission and vision and that kind of stuff. It's the why. And you almost feel, and remember, Christine, I've said this many, many times, you almost feel like you're like, there's a higher power doing this through you, or, you're serving a higher power or higher purpose or something like that.
Kind of are.
Yeah. And
well, I think you're born with those things,
right.
Like those missions.
Right.
Like for me, I'm a healer. That's my mission.
Right.
My mission is to bring healing to people. I don't know how yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
But I was always born to do that. I knew how to do massage therapy when I was 12. Right. And I barely needed any training. I mean, I had a little bit, but I always just knew what to do. Right. And, doing the healing prayer and the stuff that I do came so naturally to me.
Yep.
So,
right.
Yeah, and it's like it's a part of your soul.
Exactly. And remember, quite a while ago, I talked about, did you choose your goals, or were they given to you when you were born? Did you come here with them? So I feel like I've been at the cusp of this third level for a while, and now I'm really opening up to it. And there is a fourth level that's like when you're no longer, which I've been here too, at least I've been exposed to it, but you're no longer serving a higher power. You are one with a higher power. So in a way, you are the mission. You know what I mean?
Right. So and it's working through you, and you are working through it. Right. It's like, it's one, sort of.
Exactly. But most people I talk to are in that second level where there is a risk of failure, and you're, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? Well, the third level, when it's your why, you know why you're doing it, and you know that the universe is going to guide you to fulfilling your mission because it's your mission, no matter what. Like just how I felt very, very led, like my intuition was screaming at me to quit my job. And so I did. It was very difficult, but I knew, okay, this is my mission. And so what I've been doing is, not letting the little things bother me so much. So, when you have the why, that that's your why. And so nothing really bothers you as much. So if a prospect, if I'm talking on a consultation call and they say no, it's like, well, I still know this is my mission. So what's it matter if one person says no, or 2 people say no, or 5 people say no? This is my mission. And the universe will bring the right people to me. My mission is to spread the knowledge of how to fulfill your purpose in life and how to create what, the type of life you want to live. That's it. And I know that for a fact now. It used to be there was a doubt. Now I know that for a fact. And so when I'm living that mission, there can't be disappointment. Because, if there's a temporary setback, it's kind of like that expression, you lose the battle, but you win the war. Right? Like, okay, maybe today didn't work out, but tomorrow it will. Right. That's what happens when you have a vision, a mission in life.
It's just how life is. You can't have everything perfect all the time. People have free will and they can make their own decisions.
And you'll be led, as you open up to that mission, you'll be led to the best ways to express that. Right. And so that's what happens. And so, with both these books I've been reading, the Overachievement and Thick Face Black Heart, it's been about how do you do that and not care what other people say.
Yeah.
Okay. And not
Don't tell
and
them.
not care about the temporary setbacks, not care if you get 5 no's or 10 no's. Okay, well, I'm just one step closer to getting it right, And so that's in the Thick Face Black Heart book. That's what they call the thick face. Like, you don't care what other people say. You know what you're supposed to do. If someone else criticizes you, that's on them. If someone else is, disapproving or discourages you and says it's not possible, that's on them. You know it's possible. Like I said, the greatest performers, the greatest successful people knew from a young age that they were going to do what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Okay? And even when it seemed unlikely, there's a great quote, and I'll talk about this probably maybe next week or something, but from John Elliott that says basically, that ordinary thinkers worry about the probabilities. Is this likely that I get this? But extraordinary thinkers, exceptional thinkers, only think about the possibility. As long as it's possible, that's all they care about. And anything, as I always say, anything is possible. So it doesn't matter if it's probable, if it doesn't matter if it's likely. So many things are unlikely that happen every day. Right? And so exceptional thinkers only worry about the possible and not whether it's probable or not. And so when someone comes to them and says, oh, you can't do that, they say, well, watch me, basically. Right? I mean, they don't get discouraged by that because they know what their mission is in life, what their vision is. Like, just imagine that you knew with 100% certainty that you had what it took to get your dream in life. I'm not even going to talk about goals because this is so much beyond goals. It works with goals, but this is just beyond that. Okay? What it takes to get that, to achieve that vision in life. That big, big, big thing that you really, really, really want to do. Not because it's going to be really fun, but because this is what fulfills you. This is beyond what's nice to have or something like that, because it fulfills you. And if you are absolutely confident that you could do it, then anyone telling you otherwise is just going to be noise. Yep. That doesn't mean you're guaranteed to do it. There's no guarantee ever. But it means that you know that you have that potential. And it's going to drive you forward every day. And that's what it's about. And so, lately I've been doing that with myself, and I'm not perfect at it, but I've been doing that with myself. And I just say, you know what? I know that this is my mission. And something else that I got from the Thick Face Black Heart, which is, I haven't finished the book yet, but it's a wonderful book so far. Again, with a thick face of not caring what other people say, but when you put forth a confident persona, other people will respect that. Other people will react based on the persona you put out there. If you are confident, then people will just assume you're going to do what you're going to do. Right? So imagine going for your goal and being kind of doubtful, I don't know if I can do this. It's it's really not going to happen, or not as likely, because you're doubtful, you're kind of not really sure. Other people pick up on that and, swarm in and say, oh, you can't do this, If you're confident, even if they do say that, first of all, it won't matter to you because, you're not going to be affected by that. But they're really not as much, because they see, oh, there's a confident person. And, you know, we have the power to make other people think of us what we want them to think.
Yeah.
Okay. And the book has a lot of good examples about that. And, you know, but we have the power to make other people think what we want them to think about us. So if you want people to think that you are extremely, you know, confident in what you do, and that, you know, you are competent, you have the potential, then you have to put that out there in your persona.
It makes me think the other day someone contacted me, a friend of mine that I haven't talked to in a couple of years, contacting me needing healing and healing prayer. And so, you know, we talked on the phone and I told her exactly what I wanted her to do. And I was really confident.
Right.
And she said, okay.
Right.
No questions. I mean, just, okay, I understand. You know, I wasn't like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was like, okay, this is what I need you to do while I do this for you.
And other people will
Period.
assume that's true of you. Like, oh, she's confident. She knows what she's doing. You could be, it doesn't mean internally, you could be like, oh my God, I have no idea. You know, but.
Well, and that's how I am too, because I'm the choir director. I'm the music director for a Catholic church. And sometimes I'm just like, oh my God, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm trying, and I don't want people to. And sometimes I'm honest, and I say, I've never done this before, but we're going to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you know, you just sometimes don't know, but as long as you put forth that confident persona, people just won't question that, mostly.
Like last night, I'll never forget this, because I was trying to teach them a song, and they didn't have the heart to correct me that there was one note that I made a mistake. Because I was so confident.
Yep.
So I listened to it because I had to check something else, and I said, you could have told me that went down instead of up. I'm not perfect.
Right. Exactly.
just
yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it was just
But
funny.
people won't question that if, you know, you are confident in what you do. So that's what you need to do. So if you know, everyone has a vision in life. You just might not know what it is yet. But, you know, if you're pursuing that vision, you need to have absolute confidence that you will get there. You know, and if you have that absolute confidence, then even if people question you, it won't matter. And even if you run into setbacks, which you will, it won't matter. You're, you know, like the example of walking across that 2x4, your eyes are trained on the opposite end. You're shooting for the goal, basically. And when you do that, when you're focused, and that's another thing this overachievement talks about, when you're focused, your whole mind is focused on what you're shooting for, then you will get there. And you don't have room to worry about, what if I fail? Like, the big thing this book talks about is the trusting mindset. And he talks about, you know, act like a squirrel. Because a squirrel, like it talks about when a squirrel will cross, like, a, you know, let's say a telephone wire or something, it's not worrying about what if I fall off. It just scurries across. It just knows what to do because it can't second guess itself. We can. We have the ability to second guess ourselves. So he says, act like a squirrel. Have the trusting mindset. You know, so when you're in a really high pressure situation, it
always works the best. I don't know why.
I know the last thing you want to do is say, what if I fail? You know, you have to be so focused on what you're doing, so focused on the vision of what you're trying to achieve, that nothing else enters your mind. And then you're going to perform so much better if you do that. Right? So that's confidence, and just having that supreme confidence that you will do this, you know, one way or another, that will do so much. So it's so important in your visions when you're trying to achieve your purpose in life, and even in your regular goals too, but it's just, especially when you have this vision. Regular goals, you know, I mean, it does help with resistance, I think, when you have that confidence. You know what? I'm going to get this goal. It's just, there's no two ways about it. But it's essential when you're trying to achieve that vision. Right? So this can be applied to anything, but especially with those bigger level dreams and goals and visions, you know, you really need this. So that segues perfectly into, I want to say that I am putting together a mastermind group starting very soon. There's not an exact date of when it's starting yet because I'm still getting together the group. But I want to announce it here. I'm putting it out to everywhere I can. And so basically it's called Manifest Your Destiny Mastermind. And it's exactly about this. How do you achieve, how do you pursue your destiny, your vision in life? That thing that just drives you forward. And it's going to be a 6-month-long mastermind. We're going to be meeting 3 times a month, online, obviously. This will be over Zoom. And there'll be like a private Facebook group and that kind of stuff so we can communicate. But this is all about how you can achieve your vision. And if you don't know what your vision is, what your vision is yet, then how you can discover it. But, having that thing that drives you forward in life. And that will even make your goals so much easier too, because when you have the why in place, then your goals just fall right into place. Right? So, I'm mentioning it today because I have some awesome bonuses and a discount for the first 5 people who sign up before October 31st. And we only have like 3 spots of that left. So I'm putting it out there.
As of this
moment.
So.
I don't know how it will be by the time it goes up this weekend. This is Friday right now, October 20th. So I don't know how it'll be. But that is there. So if you're at all interested, feel free to contact me. There's a contact link on my site, co-creationcoaching.org. Feel free to contact me or just go and claim it because there's, like I said, an awesome discount for the first 5 people. Only 3 people. And so you can get that information at co-creationcoaching.org/destiny is where you can get information on that program. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be awesome, I think. So I'm very, very excited. And so are everyone who's signed up so far is super psyched about it too.
Yeah.
So that is...
You got to do it. It's a huge opportunity, guys. So you got to do it. It'll change your life forever.
I hope so. That's the goal. So that is it for me today, and I hope that this topic has helped you to get clear on why you need to have the confidence to pursue your vision in life. Once again, if you want to see the show notes for this podcast, you can go to co-creationcoaching.org/create032. And again, if you would like to subscribe to us on iTunes or rate or review us, you can go to co-creationcoaching.org/create-iTunes, and that will take you to our iTunes page. So thanks again, everyone, for listening. We really, really appreciate it. And we will be here next weekend for another episode of Co-Create Your Life. Once again, I am Brandon Oliveris.
And I'm Christine Oliveris.
Anything is possible.